there's one area that has seen a big thumbs up as far as this budget is concerned, and that is the area of taxation. In conversation with us, the Chairman CBDT as well as Chairman CBIC as well. So I appreciate you both taking your time out and speaking with us today at ET. Now, Mr. Mody, let me first begin by asking you about the tax collections. We're seeing that the tax collections are much more realistic this time around. There's been no additional pressure on the common man with respect to raising taxes. How did you ensure a balancing act?
In fact, no doubt the times have been very challenging, but I suppose better taxpayer services which we are working day and night on, and that kind of confidence which we are trying to instill in the taxpayers in terms of filing, in terms of assessment process, in terms of appeal process, and the entire gamut of services which we can offer to the taxpayers.
Right.
I think that is, and added to that, the kind of whatever information is available to the department, making it available to the taxpayers upfront in the 26AS statement. I think all these factors put together created kind of an atmosphere where the taxpayer feels enthused or motivated to discharge his obligation.
Right.
And more and more we are able to create that kind of a positive atmosphere. I'm sure that will reflect in the collections.
Oh, absolutely. And while you're talking about better compliance, let me also take it across with Mr. Kumar as well, sir. Just a day before the budget announcement, GST collections at 1.20 lakh crore rupees. This is the highest ever that we've seen. What do you attribute it to? Is this the fact that the economy is recovering, or is it that we're seeing better tax compliance owing to all the measures, including, nabbing the fraudulent GST, taxpayers and evaders as well?
I think when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Now, the idea this time was that we were in a very difficult situation. The country was in a very difficult situation.
Right.
And obviously, there was a lot of demand on us to spend more. And you can't spend without collecting.
Absolutely.
At the same time, we do not want to tax the common taxpayer. So what we did was, we said that let us reward the honest taxpayer by bringing in simpler measures and ensure that those who are gaming the system are not allowed to do so, so that taxes will be better. So I got along with Mr. Mody, and both of us, along with other departments, sat down together to see how best we can do this. And we started exchanging information between us,
right.
And we were able to pinpoint those of the taxpayers who were just gaming the system, trying to make benefit out of it, and in turn putting unfair competition on those who are actually paying the taxes correctly. When the people started seeing results, I think they started to pay up. And I must also admit that the economy is on the upward trend. The economy is doing well. So I think both put together is what we are seeing now in terms of higher tax revenues.
I also must ask you, while you're saying on one hand the idea is to ensure that people who are gaming the system, they are nabbed, and the people who are not, who are paying their taxes on time, are given some sort of relief, then why did the government fall short of not doing anything on fuel excises? The government has been collecting a lot of funds from that, and even though we're seeing fuel prices at close to $45 per barrel, there's been very little movement on that. The government has been saving all that money to make up for all the kind of all shortfalls that we're seeing.
I thought you would thank us for not increasing the taxes.
But that is true. That is true. But on the other hand, no relief for the common man as well.
You must understand that we had to have a separate fund this year for agriculture infrastructure development.
Right.
And we could not do it in any other way. We could not increase the cess. We have seen many countries abroad do it.
That would have been a demand down.
We have seen many countries abroad doing that, going in for a COVID cess. We didn't do that. So we had to carve out a portion of the taxes that we are already collecting. So, it's simple mathematics. So if you are trying to do that without affecting the taxpayer, you have to ensure that a portion of what you're collecting is taken towards the cess, so that both objectives are met.
Right, absolutely. Let me, shift focus and back talking about the direct taxes. As far as senior citizens are concerned, we've seen a big tax compliance relief coming in for them. What prompted that move? I want to understand from you.
In fact, so far as the senior citizens are concerned, what is their source of income? I mean, say it's either pension,
Absolutely.
little left of the pension. I mean, say they would put it in savings, and that too with a bank in some sort of in fixed deposit or something like that. So if these are the two basic primary sources and they are accountable and the TDS is also there, I mean, so then that we thought that we could do away with their obligation to file the tax returns.
There are many other recommendations that have been made in the task force report as well. Will you in future look at all those other recommendations as well now that you've given relief to the senior citizens?
I think very candidly, I think we have gone much beyond the task force report also in terms of faceless assessment, faceless penalties, faceless appeal. I mean, so you just name it. I think we are trying to use technology to the maximum advantage in trying to give better taxpayer services.
There's a faceless assessment appellate tribunal that the finance minister is talking about in the budget, but a lot of people have concerns about that, about the appellate tribunal, saying yes, faceless assessment was good, but perhaps a faceless appellate tribunal is going to be just pushing it a little too much. How would you allay their concerns?
No, I think it has to be taken in the perspective of the fact that once we have had the faceless appeal system, that is at the commissioner appeal level, I mean, say if that could roll out very smoothly, I mean, ITAT or the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal proceedings are merely an extension of that.
Right.
So what is the concern which is being expressed about? I think it is eminently doable.
I must also ask you about the big relief coming in for the startup community. What prompted that move for the startup community, that giving them a capital gains exemption as well as a tax holiday for a period of 1 more year? How important will this be for the whole Startup India mission to promote entrepreneurship, to promote innovation as well?
These benefits which you just talked about have been given in the last budget.
Right.
It's just that during this pandemic times, various requests had come from different quarters that if it could be extended so that it gives a fillip to the startup movement in the country. And we thought we could afford giving them that extension. And it is with that perspective that this extension was given to them.